So I'm originally from the United Kingdom, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the guns situation as far as in the UK, what people can own over there, what they can't own. I originally shot in the UK before I moved here, so I was restricted in what I could own, but I did own quite a number of guns. In this video I'm going to show you the types of guns I owned, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about the law. Not too much, but give you an insight into how the laws work in the UK. Believe it or not, 200 years ago, they used to have the right to bear arms, but over the years, those rights have been diminished. So what got me into shooting originally was air rifles in the UK. And then after a few years, I decided to take up the sport of clay pigeon shooting. So now to do clay pigeon shooting in the UK or any type of sport involving a shotgun, you're going to need to get a shotgun license. With a shotgun license, you have to apply for it through the police. You have to have a sponsor, and you also have to have your doctor sign off on it as well. And once you do that, you have to have a cabinet installed in your house. Police come out, they check that out, make sure everything's good, they interview you. If everything's good, you go ahead and get your license. And you can essentially get as many shotguns as you want. There's no restrictions on those, as long as they fall into a certain category. So this, over and under, there are no restrictions on this gun. You can have them as long as the barrel is at least 24 inches in length, you are good. Now this is a pump action. I'm in the US, so this barrel is too short, so this would be illegal in the UK. However, if it had a 24-inch barrel, this gun you could not have because the magazine capacity is more than 2 rounds. So in the UK, for a semi-automatic or also a pump action shotgun similar to this, it's going to be what's called 2+1, which means you can have 2 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber on a shotgun license. Now this, as this is configured, again, if I had a 24-inch barrel, you could have it, but you'd have to have it on a firearms license. Firearms license is a little bit more restrictive. You need 2 sponsors for a firearms license, and the other big difference is you have to have a good reason to own it. You can't just get one because you want it. So if I wanted something like this, I'd have to have good reason. Like I say, for example, I did a lot of hunting and I needed to have a capacity of more than 2 rounds, or I did some kind of sports shooting where I needed a higher capacity than 2 rounds, then I could have this on a firearm certificate, and that would be the only way I could own something like this. Now, good thing about a firearm certificate is I can have magazine fed shotguns, no restrictions on the number of rounds. So the semi-automatics that have extended magazines, all of those guns you can own in the UK, no restrictions whatsoever. So that's a nice thing about shotguns. That's not going to be the case with rifles, but as far as shotguns go, magazine, semi-automatic, not a problem. Now, what about handguns? Unfortunately, in 1997, handguns got banned, so you cannot own a handgun in the UK. This gun here, which is my Smith & Wesson 686, and this here gun here, I used to own both of these guns in the UK. These are not the same ones, these are ones I bought since I've been in the US, but I had to hand both of these guns into the government because they banned them. I did get compensation, but I would have rather had my guns. Now, while this is illegal, there are ways to kind of get around it. For example, if you want to shoot black powder guns, you can shoot handguns that are black powder, not a problem. There's a guy called Adam Westlake in the UK, he's a really great guy. He has made revolvers which basically have a removable cylinder, and you charge it like a black powder gun, goes in there, and you shoot it just like a regular handgun. That's legal in the UK. Another thing they've done is what's called a long barrel revolver. What they do is they extend the barrel so really long, and also they have a brace that comes out the back of it. And when they do that, now it's no longer a handgun, it's a carbine. So revolver, you can have 357 long barrel revolver. Kind of looks a little strange, but at least it allows you to continue to shoot guns such as pistol calibers like this. Now, unfortunately, with semi-autos, because in 1987 they banned semi-automatic rifles, you can't own a carbine. So unfortunately, you can't own anything other than 22 caliber. Next group of guns we're going to talk about is going to be bolt action rifles. Bolt action rifles, again, no restrictions on those. So you can have any caliber you want on a firearms license. Again, you gotta have good reason to own it. So typically that involves being a member of a shooting club, full member. So usually what you have to do, you have to join the club, you're a member for 6 months, you enter the probationary period, they let you become a full member, and at that time you can apply for your firearms license. And then you have to stipulate what guns you actually want to have, and also the amount of ammunition you want to store. And that's pretty much that. This gun, I had a very similar gun to this in the UK. 22 caliber little bolt action rifle. They're a lot of fun to shoot. Now, when they decided to ban handguns, well, I lost all my handguns due to the ban, and consequently I needed something new to shoot as far as guns go. So what I ended up doing is picking up a Lee Enfield. In the UK, like I say, you can hold any type of bolt action gun you want. This is a Lee Enfield number 4 Mark 1. Love this gun, it's a lot of fun to shoot. I had one in the UK, and as I say, these are great guns. If you're in the UK, I definitely recommend getting one of these, or a Mosin Nagant, or any of the other military rifles. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to own an M1 Garand because they're semi-automatic, but as far as the bolt action guns, those are available. So when it comes to rifles like this, if they're in 22 caliber and they are semi-automatic, you can own them. 22 long rifle, that is. Anything above that, unfortunately, was banned in 1987. So this gun would be illegal in the UK, unfortunately. Now, some people have found a way around that. And what they have done is they buy imported guns that don't have gas systems. So that would be called a straight pull rifle. This was a straight pull rifle. You would charge it and then pull the trigger. Now after you pull the trigger, you'd have to charge the gun a second time in order to fire another round. Magazine wise, you can have a 30-round magazine, not a problem. You just can't have it being semi-automatic, which is kind of a pain, but at the same time, unfortunately, this is the laws you have to live with if you're a shooter in the UK. Now as far as lever action guns, those you can own, same thing applies. Anything from 22, whatever caliber you want, it's not a problem. These are all legal in the UK, so you know, these are a lot of fun to shoot. So if you're in the UK, you want something that's reasonably quick to fire, I definitely recommend lever action guns. A lot of fun.